Data management shouldn't be a headache. It should be your fuel. Welcome to the Data Edge. I'm Erwin and I'm joined by Stephanie Wiechers to break down the complexities of data quality into concrete, actionable steps. We're moving beyond just another tool to show you how to build systems your team can actually trust. If you're ready to turn your technical data into strategic power, you're in the right place. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Erwin.
Yeah, so excited. We have an interesting new episode today about how data management actually and data quality has an impact on your bottom line, right?
Absolutely. I think it's the most interesting of all.
Absolutely, especially of course for the company. So we know that lots of people think data management and quality is also a little bit a boring thing. You know what I have to do with this, but especially now in the area of AI, this is becoming more and more important. So, how can we link this to the bottom line results?
Yeah. So I'm really excited to talk about this today. The clients often want to run before they can walk. And what we see, data quality is the foundation. Data quality just standalone doesn't really do anything. You do need to still be able to create that smart analysis and drive it home. And so today I'm going to shed some light on how that's actually possible and what are the missing links that the steps that need to be taken to really go from baseline quality to creating value.
That sounds interesting. But before we jump into this, do you have the feeling that C-level or management that they see the value of this or they realize the importance of working on this? How do you see that transition in development?
Most C-level executives don't see the value of working on the baseline data quality.
Uh-huh. Okay. So now you will change that, right?
Most C-level executives do see the value of working on reducing risk, on improving margins, and especially the industries that we work with, the margins are paper thin, where everyone does want to save on procurement spend, and everyone is talking about predictive maintenance, and everyone is talking about how can we price a project better and reduce the risk of extra work that's not been calculated for. No one is really looking at what does that like foundationally mean. And so most C-level executives that I speak to, they do see that they have opportunities within their business, but they never really make that link to, okay, data quality is actually the foundational missing piece.
Many companies they do have a lot of data in the company, so that means they're sitting on a lot of benefits, a lot of value actually, but they don't know.
Yeah,
So I think we're on a mission here.
we are. Yeah, because these industries are vital to our living and built environment. So to have a comfortable life, to have a comfortable job where the climate installations in your office building work, or to use the products that we use and have them come timely of a supply chain, we do rely on these industries to function properly.
Mm. Okay, so for the people listening now and think, never thought about this. Can you give a hint maybe what is the difference between if you really then accelerate your data or you enable your data that you have, or if you don't, what kind of impact on the bottom line? It's maybe a challenging question a little bit, but to give a little bit like an insight that people have an idea what we are talking about.
Would it be helpful if I give one really concrete example of something that can be achieved through this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes even more sense, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
from the field.
Yeah, from the field. Okay, cool. We'll do a procurement example.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let's paint a picture. We've got a large company. It operates across Europe. It has lots of different locations, and they provide like a range of different services. So They're building roads, they're doing work on rails, and there's lots of servicing involved as well. So kind of a broad range of technical work that's being executed. And in order to do this work, of course, they'll be buying lots of components. So they've got like a very, very elaborate procurement team. And people in this team have complex, like very, very complex jobs because all this consolidation has happened. So there's loads of different entities and they need to book everything through the right place. So now, as everyone in the team is actually aware that there are lots of inefficiencies happening, and everyone in the team really wants to make a difference and they want to make a change, they also are so burdened in just fixing their day to day. So they have like their responsibilities, and then there's this whole admin burden that comes with it. Now, they've identified that there's actually major cost saving opportunities. But when you look at the information that's stored, so it's just everything in the procurement system, it's this gigantic database where people are trying to make an analysis and they're trying to make beautiful dashboards which give the insights, and every single time they get stuck.
Because the data is not on the right level to do the right analysis, right? That's the reason on it. Okay. You explain about cost savings. Is it only cost savings, or are there also other ways to hit the bottom line?
There are multiple ways. We were going to talk about predictive maintenance today, of course, so that's a big topic, where the same problem comes into play. So if you look at the asset management side of business, then from a high level perspective, you would say, okay, we've got all this information of how many maintenance calls we make, how much maintenance we do on a specific asset. We've got the list of all our assets under management. So we should be able to say, this is going to break. Or if we service
Mhm.
this 2 times as much, we extend the lifetime value by so many years. And this is where the C-level executives, they think, okay, so now we've got AI, so we can make this analysis now and we can use a tool and then it will give us the answer. And then big frustration arises because there's always someone who is a little bit more operational and they see that it's just not working. So it sounds beautiful, but the results are not there.
Mm.
And they're really within reach, which is frustrating, right?
Definitely, yeah. Well, it's an interesting thing because I'm just thinking about what you're saying about this predictive maintenance. And for the end client, of course, that it's also very important. They will see a lot of cost savings and machine park will not stand still and so on and so forth. But in the middle, the supplier, that's also the company that we help, right? They have a really differentiated advantage if they work like that. So they really have a strategic advantage as well. So it's not only about cost savings, but also they strengthen their strategy and have adding differentiation, what
Mm,
makes them more valuable in the marketplace.
yeah,
So that is then another driver for them to, yeah, to take this very serious.
yeah. There are a couple of differentiators. If we talk about how can we make a big difference by linking our databases together and getting them cleaned up, and then providing that value add, where one of them is on the sales side and one of them is on the kind of cost and like margin risk side.
Hmm.
So I can highlight the margin risk side first, and then we can move on to the next step, which is sales. Basically, in the margin risk side, when you're offering a project, then it's going to be an all-in fee plus any kind of ad hoc that you make agreements on upfront. But so everything that falls within the standard maintenance range, that is something that you calculate and you want to know what can we expect around the actual maintenance that needs to be done on this asset. And as a service provider, you'll become responsible for having like a machine functioning. And so if something happens to that machine, then that's a big cost because now you suddenly have a mechanic that needs to go there and sorry about that. Now you suddenly have a mechanic that needs to go there, and that means that your margin on this project suddenly has decreased. So like that's one. The second bit is around having an insight into, okay, what can we expect in terms of what like items we might need? So what like components are we gonna have to replace a lot? And so just to be able to have them in stock. So that's kind of the broader terms of what can we
Yeah,
do as
yeah.
prediction.
I also like the second part that you just highlight because I remember also working in corporates and then we have this revenue forecast and so on, right? But even though also very important was the predictability.
Mhm.
And I remember we even had like KPIs on this predictability. If you really can predict the maintenance and you can plan it, that's very valuable for this scale of companies as well. Um, like you say, if all of a sudden you have to do all kind of unplanned, unexpected additional work, that's not what somebody wants, right? Nobody wants that. Not the end client, but also not the supplier. So always there is somebody bleeding then
Yeah.
in this process.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. And it's a win-win on both ends. So with doing those predictions better, it's a better service provider. You become a better service provider and you increase your own margins. So having this like insight and like foresight into what is likely to happen within this project makes all the difference.
That's great. So yeah, actually, so today we really see that data has a serious impact on the bottom line, and not only in terms of cost savings, but also in terms of strategy and to give you a differentiation. So that's something maybe not all managers and C-level people had in mind so far, and it's good to point that out, I think. So yeah, all right. So for today, I thank you so much for your insights. And next week, we have another one, Data Edge, to focus on another topic important and to work on our mission to make everybody enthusiastic about data and quality.
See you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.